How's everybody doing? All right, so my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is May 20th, 2021. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with SPY. So bulls were able to facilitate a bounce yesterday on a gap down open. We had some notable changes in our volume profile as the bulls not only carried the trend throughout most of the day, but also were able to change the price direction at key levels that we are interested in. On our 4-hour, we see that the overall trend is still in the upper direction. The SPY has not yet come to test this trend, but we are forming the potential for a higher low amidst a volatile period of downside last week. I've gone ahead and marked a key number, 405.4. This is a daily level that we've looked at in the past. And it is the relative low of this 2-day balance area from the uptrend that we came from. The SPY was able to hold this area yesterday on a double bottom. And as we look at our short-term time frame, we see how that formed. SPY was overall in a downtrend with the gap down open. We saw a little bit of consolidation and what some consider chop, but we were able to hold this low on a double bottom, and it led to a change of trend in the intraday session amidst some volatility with the FOMC meeting. So SPY showing the potential for holding on a range low. We do need to clear some upper resistance in order for this to be really proven from the bull perspective. But we do have an opportunity here with our volume profile change and also the fact that we're holding things like the 50-period moving average and also a higher low compared to the more volatile low that was set last week. So structure is starting to shift. We go back to our 4-hour, we see things like a downtrend line that we do want to keep an eye on. And we will look to see if there are opportunities in other markets based on this bounce. Things are starting to maybe shift back into the bullish direction and looking mostly for areas of low risk and high reward when it comes to setups based on overall market conditions. We'll look at our 1-hour and just see that the volume profile is facilitative of being a bit overextended to the downside. We saw that from high to low. We got extension above our VA range. We fell through the VA range, a little bit of volatile action in between, and then set this short-term bottom. Got a lot of follow through with that bottom, which led us to believe that this follow through could lead to consolidation somewhere between the upper range, which was this double top high resistance, and somewhere above our volatile low. We are now seeing that consolidation start to form. Hopefully this will tighten in some fashion, either a pennant or just defining shorter and smaller ranges, and then lead to a breakout in the bullish direction or a breakdown of these key levels, which should be facilitated by high volume, as we would be breaking a trend line if we were to break down from this point. So markets are trying to hold, and that is evident with our other index that we like to watch, the Qs. We see that the Qs actually facilitated some of this upside momentum in the SPY yesterday, as we did continue to hold our trend line. We could see that on the 4-hour. We did come and essentially back test our recent volatile low, but overall the trend line is still intact. There's still some proving to do on the bull side, but this is a good sign that there are still buyers in this area. And what we want to see is sort of the overall trend change similar to the SPY. So the Qs were able to hold here intraday. We had a day where it was pretty much an all-day trend. This started in the morning during the gap down low and really never looked back after market open. We had a pretty much all-day uptrend in the Qs. And now we're simply seeing, can they change the overall direction of the daily and things like the 4-hour time frame? We still have a downtrend line here that we're trying to crack. We're trying to build some pressure inside of this lower trading range and overall maybe get over some dynamic resistance, things like the 20 and the 50 period moving averages on the 4-hour. Volume profile wise, we do see that the Qs, similar to the SPY, are in sort of an overextended area of the VA profile on the 30-day time frame. VPOC still sits well above us, as a majority of our past months trading volume sits well in the upper ranges. But in this overextended area, we can look for sort of low risk, high reward setups in both the short and long directions. Things like this trend line give us a clue as to where to expect buyers. And then obviously things like horizontal support and resistance, defining these clear ranges and knowing expectations help us to define risk tolerance and ultimately be optimistic if we were to clear some of these levels. But also knowing that our risk is currently to the downside if we are to lose this trend, the ability for this market to sell through some areas of support have been noted, and we are sitting well below the 50 period moving average on the daily. So everything is in the lens of a weaker tech sector, but we are seeing some optimistic signals in intraday sessions. And these are things we want to note if they are to change the overall sentiment and trend that we're trying to define. Finally, the IWM, seeing a similar volume uptick yesterday and notable gap down open, but not coming to test previous lows. We see that it's actually holding above our general trend line. We still have quite a bit of overall chop and indecision in this market. So overall, the perspective here is either one of hold or I would say pause before deciding some sort of directional bias. We do have 220 to 221 as a known VPOC area. This is going to be seen on pretty much any time frame that you look at volume profile, because a majority of our time has been spent roughly in the middle of this area of distribution. Now, if this distribution is to break down, we may see some similar price action as we saw in other markets, where we're losing notable trading ranges and essentially moving away from value in a very big way. Until that happens, we remain sort of in this upper trading range. We're allowing this market to maybe decide much more clearly which direction it wishes to go. And throughout this entire period, the overall price action is very quote unquote choppy. This is pretty key for distribution, as there is balance in this area, as selling and buying are sort of matching in the tone. Short term, however, if we look at volume profile on the 1 hour, we still know where our VPOC exists, somewhere around 221, and we're sitting slightly below our VA range. So short term, we're looking to essentially find low risk, high reward setups. This trend line was a clear example of one that got plenty of follow through. And at this point, that trade is concluded as we have hit our target. At this point, we're setting a potential for a higher low and obviously looking for some sort of large trend change signal, something like a trend line break on a shorter term downtrend. So overall, things are facilitating themselves inside of the trading range, keeping in mind that the larger picture is one of distribution. And we do want to be careful if this market ever sells through this overall trend line. This is going to be some probably like last signals of the distribution phase ending, and this may change into more of a markdown sort of market where we have a downtrend and the formation of lower highs and lower lows. So the IWM's hanging in there. We saw things like the dollar have a slight uptick yesterday, and this is off of something notable, which is if we look back in time, we see that the dollar did open. I'll put this right here. The dollar opened on the year at approximately 89.75. Just make sure that this is right, 89.71. We are seeing some reactions at this point, and we've seen a reaction here in the past noted by this swing low. So the dollar is reacting here. We want to keep this on watch. Ultimately, just checking off boxes of, are they trying to hold the dollar here? If yes, we want to see some trend change. If they do not hold the dollar here, we want to see this break down. And we've done this throughout this entire period where the dollar has simply stair-stepped through support zones and areas where we expect reactions. If they cannot facilitate those reactions with something notable, then things sort of continue in the downward direction. Otherwise, we would look to potentially take profit in things that are inversely correlated to the dollar, think metals, or look for opportunities on a strong dollar if this trend change does facilitate itself. And we will look at those in the maybe in the coming sessions if this does hold. We're seeing things like the 10-year interest rate continue to have periods of upticks, and we're seeing bond prices react to that back to this downside trading range. Overall, just keeping this on watch. This has a lot of work to do to retest the upper highs that we had during some of the March volatility. This actually did set a significant low inside of the equities markets and led to a pretty strong April period in both the SPY and the tech sectors. So as we start to once again climb and potentially retest this, a rejection of this area could lead to another significant bottoming action and ultimately something that we could take advantage of. So always want to just kind of look at what is occurring in these correlated areas and also look at what was the reaction in something like equities that we do trade and how to take advantage of it if it does facilitate itself once again. We talked about gold, notable volatility in gold and during yesterday's session. We are at some key resistance points in gold. And I would say that given the volume profile, there certainly was indecision met with both buyers and sellers sort of battling in this range. Short term, a loss of the low could lead to sort of a reversal type structure. And that reversal obviously has a lot of work to do to sort of basically change this nice channel breakout that we've been watching. I would look for it to maybe catch its breath somewhere on a previous swing high. But if it does break bullish, I would say overall the trend is still in the bulls camp. We have sort of our general trend line to keep on watch. And ultimately this market has been outperforming in a lot of ways to the upside. So one day of indecision, ultimately we keep it on watch, but don't necessarily want to completely get out if your time frame is much larger than a swing. Same idea with silver, a little bit of topping action. We did see some follow through. We did see the volume start to kick back in to the downside, which is notable. Same basic concept. We do have a trend here. This trend has been solid over the past couple of months. And so far, a pullback to this trend could be thought of as a buy potential, with the understanding that we are at previous resistance. And what we are trying to do is essentially get out of this trading range, which silver has been in for the past 6 to 8 months. A previous swing high after a strong bullish market, lots of consolidation and overall indecision. We have low ranges, high ranges, and ultimately trying to get through the upper part of this range, leading to some sort of structure as we saw in the past. Crude did see a breakthrough of the general trending channel. We were unable to clear this downtrend. And so far, we have come back down to our upper portion of the lower trading range. Very notable terminology there. So with this reaction here, I would say short term, we are looking for this to essentially bring us back into the channel, some sort of false breakdown structure if crude is to be bullish. Otherwise, a breakthrough of this area brings us back into this lower trading range. And I would say our thesis has to essentially change from sort of a cautious bullish approach leading to the breakout back into more of a consolidation and or bearish posture. So aggressive bears were maybe scaling into this downtrend, looking for it to fail, and bulls are looking for opportunities to have support areas hold and lead to a breakout of what is a notable downtrend. Natural gas saw some of that weakness as well. We did see this breakout of this consolidation lead to a fail. So this failed breakout brought us back to this consolidation range. And we're essentially looking at some dynamic support to hold, sort of climb us through this area, which is the $3 psychological. And otherwise, if we fail and come back through this consolidation range, that is a big warning sign that natural gas does not have the energy at this time to really break out strongly. So natural gas, I would say, or specifically the energy market, I would say, is trying to prove to us as a bull that it can start to really take off and get out of a lot of this trading structure. If it cannot, we will see these early warning signs that things are starting to fail. And as things collapse back down, we will look for basically other areas of the market that offer better risk to reward. Either as a bull or as an aggressive bear, you're actually looking at this as a potential failed setup. So either or, I would say just keep on watch things that have occurred and also what is being tested at this point to see whether things are just coming to sort of test an area before launching or actually breaking down and not having the follow through as needed. And then finally, things like volatility. We did see an uptick yesterday that was overall sold into. Our volatility futures do remain elevated. So keep this in mind that while the VIX has come down significantly, the future contracts themselves are quite elevated, and they are on the verge of something called contango, switching to backwardation, which is in most cases going to lead to additional volatility inside of the VIX and other products. So really we're on that razor edge of things potentially shifting from, I would say, volatile to more volatile. But at this time, we are once again on that razor edge. And if things start to calm down in the equities markets, we should see follow through to the upside with sort of our bullish thesis. And we should also see this area either consolidate or just not show any sort of general warning signals of people bidding on volatility. Usually you can see this with a product like the volatility index, but also the volatility of the volatility index, sort of a double derivative product. you will see people buying elevated volatility based on this index, which shows hedging activity is willing to pay up for volatility. That is a very, I would say, significant warning sign that large firms, institutions, quote unquote, smart money, they see something coming and they're willing to pay up to protect their assets. So in the case of that, you want to look at sort of the reactions here and see that things were getting quite significant in the past. We did have some large upticks here as people were bidding for elevated volatility contracts, usually the options. So the final thing that everybody was watching yesterday was, of course, the capitulation of the crypto markets. I'm going to bring this to a 1-minute chart just to show how that formed and how in the future, if you were unable to take advantage of this, you can look for opportunities like this to show and how to essentially look for those opportunities as a trader. So we all know that yesterday crypto had one of its worst downside moves in quite a while. And let's start off with our higher level just to show where we came from and where we're headed. Having trouble with this this platform. It's not my my bread and butter platform. So what we were looking at in the crypto markets was Bitcoin on the USD comparison chart was sitting at a previous swing high. It had sat here for the period of a couple of days, and on the shorter term time frame, 42,000 was holding as a potential triple bottom. You can see that here with a test, another test, lack of follow through on the second double bottom, sort of an early warning sign that it's not quite as strong as needed. A little bit of hesitation to break some sort of dynamic trend, and then the final spike and breakdown of this support area. So that led to obviously a lot of volatility starting to come in as we get into our lower time frames. We see that bulls were trying to defend certain key spots. These were short-term capitulation areas that simply did not have the same structure as the final spike down. So we saw this spike here, roughly around 38,000. This is following a little bit of downside momentum and then a potential waterfall. This is what you're looking for in capitulation moments, a lack of demand in all of these ranges as sellers are simply letting the market fall through the order book. And then you're looking for essentially all of the supply to be diminished with demand at some key level, typically whole number, psychological, or something very notable like a swing high or swing low. We hit here. We had a very, I would say, timid bounce, which is a short-term warning sign that the selling may not be done. Normally you want to see this recover all the way back up to where we broke down from, somewhere in this previous trading range. We did not see this. So this area consolidated. We saw a potential double bottom, follow through, and then once again, selling come back into the market. So this led to the final fear-based selling where we had two spike downs, roughly 30, I want to call this 35.5. Let's see what this level is. 36.2, okay. So that is not notable in terms of a psychological level. This spike did have the capitulation qualities where you have the trading range you came from and that you broke down from. You were able to V-bottom all the way back into it. But at this point, you essentially want to form a structure that is like a higher low and basically trying to change the trend. We did not get that. And finally, the final flush, you will see some very interesting structures here where as the exchanges were starting to go down, You will actually see volume and gaps starting to form during this sell-off, very large notable gaps. This is as things were starting to get chaotic in this market, and essentially people were unable to facilitate new or change orders inside of exchanges that did not have access. Obviously, at this point, we all know it hit roughly 30,000. It's going to be slightly different on different exchanges, but overall, hit 30,000. The entire order book has been flushed. A lot of people are likely to have been margin called, as a lot of over leveraged longs have been flushed at this point, and essentially the imbalance has switched. So we got all of the sellers facilitating their orders. They were able to hopefully get out during these lows, and then all of the supply has been facilitated, which leads to demand taking over. That's when you see significant V bottoms like this. And this V bottom not only did have the follow through quality, which we're looking for, breaking all the way back to where we came from, but the structure here is starting to become more and more as if the bulls are trying to reform the overall trading range. Now, regardless of your thoughts on this entire process, it is notable that during all of this volatility, we were able to come all the way back and retest where we broke down from in the first place, which was that 42K level. So this move here is the thing that you are looking for as a bull in times of volatility like this. It is one of those trading opportunities that comes very rarely, but if it does occur, you want to not only be prepared and willing to accept some of the basically risk to reward parameters of capitulation, but if you're able to take advantage of it, this can be one of those setups that gives you the most range in the shortest amount of time. Obviously, as a seller, you can take advantage of the downswing. Downswing has a ton of power to it, and it's waiting for the right amount of demand in order to change. But once you see the capitulation, you definitely want to be cautious stepping back into a short, because the imbalance is so significant, and the fact that the order books have been cleared for this market, you essentially don't have resistance moving back up, at least not until this market starts to settle and let some additional structure sort of set the new levels. So 42,000 still remains the number to beat. This right here is a test of this area. It is not a breakthrough, it is a test. And overall, we failed that first test, which is pretty common, especially amidst all of the range that we did set. We came down and set a new higher low, which is 35,000. This is notable given the psychological aspect of it and the fact that it is such a clear numerical level. So this new trend is now what the bulls are trying to hold. They're going to use this trend, and you can see how it's forming currently, to break 42,000. If they do not, coming back to this trend line is likely the next scenario. And at that point, they're going to try and consolidate this range. Once again, try for that breakout in some sort of cup and handle based pattern. And if it fails, you will see something like 40,000 fall through with significant volume. So keep all this structure in mind. This is a normal sort of structure reaction to capitulation. And we talked about how Bitcoin, at least on this week, we talked about how distributive this market looked, where we had sort of buying climaxes, upper thrust with the lack of follow through. We're seeing these auto reactions on these buying climaxes based around some of the preliminary supply that was entering this market, and just an overall trading range that was looking toppy. That led to obviously some downside reactions back to swing highs. These were unable to hold, and the overall catalyst and sentiment in the market shifted. at which point we got our capitulation low, at which point the bulls are going to look at this low and say, we do not want to lose this low at any point. If we do, then the Bitcoin top is likely to be set for a long period of time based solely on the technical analysis here. So obviously, opportunities like this, you want to look at how they formed. You want to look at how could you have taken advantage of this opportunity as a trader. And overall, depending on your time frame, you may be looking at, okay, this is something that I'm watching very closely. I'm looking for trend changes in the short term, things like 4 hour, which is already starting to shift back to bullish, along with daily structure, and obviously trying to get back into this upper trading range so we can redefine who is actually winning this fight. Obviously, feather in the cap of the bears. This was a very significant drop, a lot of follow through, but at this point, the capitulation low is set, and we do want to see how this moves forward from this point in time. So overall, with that said, that's the end of my time for today. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about this in the coming week, but obviously trade safe. Look at the markets as trying to change the overall structure and trend, and maybe also look at some potential growth names, which did have some significant buying pressure yesterday. Didn't get a chance to talk through all of that, but looking at things like semiconductors, solar, and maybe even potentially some names inside of the NASDAQ, which did see a very strong trend day. So that said, trade safe. Stay tuned, pre-market prep with Carlos and Norm, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. All right, guys, let's get right to it. Let's look at our watch list from yesterday. We did have quite a bit on here that didn't trade so well. Let's start with Mara this morning. Mara, yesterday on our watch list, look at the pre-market action. We did get some good action there. And then it just kind of went sideways a little bit for after the market opened. So if you look at it here, pre-market action, very nice. A beautiful pre-market action, by the way. And then just at the market open, didn't do a whole lot. Obviously, MAV has been beat down quite a bit with everything going on with Bitcoin. But again, just pretty choppy at the market open. Next, we had AMC on deck. AMC also started off with a great pre-market action. I think what we saw yesterday is a lot of stuff sold off very hard, very fast early on. And then at the market open, it was just kind of like, okay, what's next? Are we going to continue to sell off down here? Are we going to find some kind of support? AMC showed a little bit of a pop here and then right back down to some of the lows of the pre-market in the low of the day. So not a whole lot going on there. Then for the most part, just chop all around. It's just not really doing a whole lot into the mid-morning and later parts of the afternoon. Here's AMD, guys. AMD was just wild. Not much going on first part of the morning. Then here at 12:20, just takes off on this huge volume, 4.9 million shares traded here. Another 3.2 next 5 minutes, and next after that another 4.3. So just madness there, guys, on AMD. Obviously very difficult to time this type of takeoff here, but you can see it did come up towards this level that we have here, 74.24. That was the high of the day around that time, but very difficult to time this. You don't expect a move like this on AMD on a possible break off the high of the day, right? So, but if you did catch that, nice opportunity for you there. Here's Apple. Apple continues just move sideways, guys. If you look at the daily, let's take a quick look at the daily here. Again, it just hasn't done much, right? It's just kind of moving sideways here, trying to hold on to this 124.70 level, and it's just been stuck there. And we've been seeing this yesterday, the day before. Another day of just chop yesterday for AMD. It is on an uptrend. There is a slight nasty ugly chop uptrend, but for the most part, very difficult to trade this stock yesterday. And even in the pre-market action, we saw this too, right? The market was selling off and Apple was just holding this 122, and it was able to recover some of their losses from the gap down yesterday here in not a pretty fashion. Tesla, same situation, guys, very choppy, just moving sideways. This was the entire morning. If you look at these candles here, every candle overlapping the previous candle, just nothing going on there. Eventually, it does give us a couple of nice moves in here, but for the most part, not a whole going on there for Tesla. Here's SQ. SQ also did give you a nice little sell down at the pre-market. From there, again, just not a whole lot of clean trading. You did get a couple of breakouts here above the VWAP, above the moving averages, but outside from that, not a whole lot going on there. So Norm, to say the least, very interesting market times. What's the latest and greatest? I know you have some numbers coming out today.
Yeah, jobless claims just came out. They weren't too far off from what was expected. The continuing claims were higher than expected. We've got Philly Fed that just came out. I haven't seen that number yet. So hasn't done a whole lot with the markets. I mean, it's popped us up just a little bit, but overall we're relatively flat this morning after the big day. Jared dove into that this morning, so I won't go too much deeper into it, but a little bit of craziness. We'll see how it plays out.
Yep, we sure will, guys. All right, with that said, let's jump right into our watch list, our gappers list this morning. We got quite a bit in the green, a few things in the red today as well. Gapping down 28%, 29.5, and a few others down here as well. So let's see what we got there. Starting with the two low floats right now. This one is 18 million shares float. It is up 11.5. Let's remove. Oh, by the way, look at Bitcoin. We'll keep Bitcoin on here. Just the madness yesterday. Did get a bounce. Did end it with a bounce there. So
had a hell of a bounce.
See. We'll see how that plays out.
Right off 30,000.
Yeah. So let's delete actually all of these first. We'll put Bitcoin up here since it is hot topic at the moment. So Bitcoin there. Let's put some brand new rows here, guys, and we'll scroll on down all the way there. There we go. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let me check something here. Okay, there it is. Okay, perfect. All right, so starting with PDSB, this one, just needed once. There we go. PDSB, guys, this is up 12.5 now, 723,000 shares traded. Let's look at our pre-market action right now. It looks okay. It's not great for 18 million shares flow. So
yeah, it's a biotech. It had some drug info come out this morning. So.
All right. We'll put it on here, guys. Let's see if it gets better. Yeah, let's see if it gets better. That's a great catalyst, but it's not looking good right now. So we'll see. Here's Lex I'm sorry, ELEXX. This one on here not looking good at all. Also 4.1 million shares float. It is up 10%. Volume is just not there, and the pre-market is showing you that it's not trading well. So we'll leave that one alone. Mara leading the way after leading the way on the gap down list yesterday, I believe. They're up right now, 8.2. So finding a nice little base here. The last couple of days have been consolidating here. Let me get my Epic pen out here so we can mark a few things. So been consolidating here the last couple of days, banging his head up against 2349, 2350 right on here. You can see that. So this morning definitely in play. It's got great volume as well. Getting a nice pre-market action activity up 8.2, 600,000 shares traded. So that's pretty good there. Next, we do have Riot, so another Bitcoin here. We have a low flow that's just kind of popped up here. CPSH. What do we have here? Let's throw it on here. Looks just starting to get going. Just came up. Let's see if that picks up any more volume there. Here's Riot. So Riot also in play, guys. Very similar to Mara and what their list looks like. Again, you got this chop here the last couple of days, finding some nice support here. We can keep Riot as a possible. Obviously, Bitcoin right now is the talk of the town at the moment. BTBT, another Bitcoin ticker here. This one doesn't trade as well. Very similar to CAN. We saw a couple of days where CAN was actually pretty neat, guys. And you can see it here. Look how wide these candles are. They had news as well in the individual news as well. Plus Bitcoin was doing good. So that was fun to trade. I caught a couple of good moves there, and so did the community. But at the moment, not looking all that. I think Mara and Riot are the two ones leading the way here. IOVA had a massacre yesterday, guys, dropping from 24 to 18. This morning, they're not looking so hot at the moment. They're up 4.1. Volume and pre-market are not great at the moment. So we'll see. We'll come back to it. Let's put this one on here. IOVA. Here we go. But let's see, how did this actually trade yesterday? Oh, yeah, that's not good. So you got a little bit of a downtrend, probably a news breakout here. You got this massive drop. But aside from this here, there's no good intraday trading on this. So on the fence on that one, we might drop that one off. We might find something better. Here's TIG this morning. They are up 5.5 with a horrible daily, guys. This is, now if you want to talk about a bad daily chart, this is it right here. I mean, just look at this. The wicks bigger than the bodies of the candles on almost every single day here. Very low volume, guys. 272,000 is less than that here in the most part. None of these days here are above 1 million. That's scary. So we'll skip on down. Also low flow, 12 million shares flow. So very scary stuff. Heading on down, we have Viacom here this morning. They are up 3.7. Okay, pre-market action. Again, these guys they're interesting as far as their daily goes, right? They've been just chopping around here for weeks now. Just got a very long consolidation period right on here, trying to get going. It could be interesting, guys. Could be interesting. Not sure if today is the day, but they're looking pretty alive this morning. Let's put it down as a possible. We will come back to that one. Here's Fuel Cell. Fuel Cell right now it's up 3.7, 108,000 shares traded. Pre-market action is looking okay. Could be better. We've seen better from Fuel Cell. Let's see if that continues to improve there. Next, FSR. FSR is, again, this is the hit or miss. It did put in a good day the day before, right? Put in a beautiful breakout here 2 days ago. This would have been on Tuesday. Yesterday was not so great, but it really was not in play. Today, their daily looks interesting, breaking out of this 1250 area, prior area of support and resistance over the last 2 days. So I kind of like FSR here. I'm going to put that on there. NMDM this morning, they are popping up 3.4, 477,000 shares traded. Okay, it's okay. Daily's not all that great. We'll put it on here for now. Here's Plug. Plug this morning up 2.8. Again, I like Plug when they can get going. They can trade very well. Let's look at the action yesterday. Again, it was just okay, like everything else was. There was nothing really great. Let's add Plug on here this morning. NKLA. Let's see what we have here. Coin and NKLA together. That could be a mess. NKLA, yeah, that could be very messy. NKLA here, guys, again, just not looking good. I don't think it has really been in play, man. Look at yesterday. Again, yesterday was bad, and we saw Apple be bad. But when good stocks like Apple are bad stocks like this one are just worse. They're just by far worse, and you see that here. NKLA is just not good. So I'm not going to add it. I don't think there's anything going on there. Here's coin, guys. Again, coin is a special breed. You got to know how to trade this type of stocks, man. These stocks, if you are not careful, they could just rip your face off. And we talk about it quite a bit here, guys. Just be very, very careful. There's a lot of money to be made here, but there's also a lot that can be lost in here. So be very, very careful. Yeah, Space. I don't know how we missed Space because I saw it very early on. It was popping up before coming on, but it wasn't on the top of our list for some reason, or maybe it wasn't scrolled all the way up. Who knows? But yeah, Space is definitely
it's been up there, so I think maybe it was just not scrolled.
Not scrolled all the way up there. Yeah, but yeah, Space is in play, guys. Great volume. Any news on this, Norm? There has to be something.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a scheduled test flight, I believe, for Saturday.
Okay.
Which frees up a little uncertainty that there's been about their program.
Okay, so excellent here, guys. Popping up nicely today. 21%, 7.1 million shares traded. They're definitely in play after, again, being beat up quite a bit over the last couple of months, guys. Just really on a nice little downtrend. Finding support a couple of days ago and now getting a nice little breakout here on some positive news. So Space is in play. Thank you for reminding me that I got Space on there, guys. All right, let's stop here on what's gapping up. I don't see anything else. LI, I think LI is not a good one. Yeah, I don't think this is great. So let's skip on that. Let's see what's gapping down. BDTX this morning, they are down 27.9, 131,000 shares traded. Pre-market action is not looking great. I do like the gap down on this one. Volume is just looking down at the volume, guys. Look at this. They're the most they have traded. I blocked the number. The most they have traded is 1 million shares. For the last month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. So again, it's just, you're not going to get volume of something like this. So it's concerning to see that even now with a gap down, I'm concerned this is not going to trade well. So we'll skip on that one. Also, a little bit on the lower side, 25.1 million shares float. Not a low float, but a little bit borderline there. BEKE this morning down 9.3, 2.4 million shares traded. So they got quite some volume there. That volume is not trading great. I think we've seen better pre-market action. Their daily's a little funky at times here. You got a couple of nasty gaps, ups and downs. Every candle kind of overlapping the previous candle. So it does get messy here. As far as the price action, be very, very careful here. You can see that this thing can move a dollar or two very, very easily in a matter of minutes. So we'll come back to it. They seem okay for now. Here's Ride. Let's see what Ride is up to. They had a couple of nice runs the last couple of days. Green Days back to back here, increasing in volume as well. Today they're gapping down 7.7%, 550,000 shares traded. Again, just taking a little bit of a breathing room here for the bulls. But we'll see. This could be interesting. I do like the daily on this one. Possible continuation. Let's see if this is just some profit taking. I'm sure if you were sitting down here at 7, holding your breath and you're up, $3-4, you are going to take some profit, I would assume. So let's see what Ride does. Daily is interesting, and they got some decent volume this morning, and their pre-market action also looks good. And what we mean by that, guys, is just look at the way it's moving here. But aside from the way it's moving, look how the candles are forming some really nice wide body candles here, right? You're not getting no dashes and no candles that look all like wicks all over the place and some chop. You're getting a pretty good activity there. Here's Mosi. Mosi is a 6 million shares flow. So on the lower side, had a big day yesterday, big day a couple of days ago as well, right on here with some decent sized volume. Pre-market action looks clean. 218,000 shares traded, though. That is not enough volume for this type of low flow stock. Just want to see how it traded yesterday. Man, it looks like just the first half hour had the entire move here. After that, did not do a whole lot. And even looking at this now, does not seem like it was very clean. So that's a big concern here. How did they get 92,000 shares traded? How did they do that? Let me see here. There's a lot of chop here. Again, they're chopping around, pushing heavy volume, guys, but there's not a whole lot of continuation. Like right in here, you're trading what is that, 1.9 million shares traded every 5 minutes, but you're not moving. So that's a little bit concerning there. So that is a Mosi. We'll put as on our risky pile. We'll come back to that one. Here is, we looked at Ride already. Someone mentioned there's no shares for short. Yeah, I see that now. Thank you for pointing that out. And guys, what we're looking for S. I'm not sure if you could see this here, but if there's an S here, that means that you do have inventory to short with your broker. So Interactive Brokers does not have any, but I still like this one. I mean, it's been very strong. I still like it as a possible, even if we only play towards the long side, if we can find some kind of opportunity here. So let's keep this one for now. We can always remove it later if it doesn't look good for a possible long play. Here's Kohl's. They're moving today down 6.8, 837,000 shares traded. Again, their daily's just all over the place here, very light on volume. I like the fact that we're down and we're slamming up against this area of a lot of support that we're seeing here. You see great support happening here and here as well. A few times that we touched on these two places, we were able to bounce. This morning, we've already dipped below that down to 54. So Kohl's could be interesting. They got great volume, decent pre-market action. Their daily's a mess. But Kohl's, once in a while, they can trade well. Not all the time.
They have
once in a while.
earnings, so they've got the catalyst in case that'll do something. Usually they move pretty decently on earnings most of the time.
Yeah. Yep, agree 100%. CSCO here, they are up down 5%, 506,000 shares traded. I like this gap down. We just blew through some of the levels of support here with no issues at all. We're now holding on to this level of resistance. That could be interesting using that as support here. Pre-market action looks okay. Okay, possible for now. And Dash, what is Dash up to? I mean, this thing has not been a great IPO since it opened up, and they're not looking any hotter this morning. Pre-market action looks horrible. Looks like they had some action last night, but aside from that, I don't see anything great on Dash here. And even if we had some volume, Dash is just not a great intraday trading stock, right? We've seen that in the past plenty of times. All right, let's stop here. Norm, what do you like this morning?
Still looking, brother. All right. I mean, nothing that we haven't gone over that I found special. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our chat room, guys. What do you guys like this morning? Let's start with Jimmy. You're giving us BEKE. We did look at that one. We put it on here, 2.4 million. It is down 9.2. I'm concerned with the daily a little bit here, but I do like this drop here. This morning, Coast, we have Space. We have Mike, who's giving us Facebook. Let's see what Facebook is up to. Oops. Let's put that on the right area. There we go. Facebook. Not a whole lot going on pre-market action. Their daily is interesting, but again, this stock, like many others, Nvidia, AMD, and all these stocks have been pretty high. You know, that tech stock, they're going to be interesting to watch. Right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot for it to be explosive at the market open. Now, the SPY can change all of that. We know that. We've seen that over and over again. And this is when you start watching Facebook, Apple, all these stocks that just kind of been mirroring whatever the SPY has been, the overall market has been doing. AZN this morning, yeah, we traded and looked at this one plenty of times before in the past, guys. It hasn't been great. It is not a good intraday trading stock. They're up 1.2 this morning, 614. And I'm not sure if they're foreign. I can't remember. But again, just look at their daily, guys. Just very choppy.
AZN?
Yeah, AZN. Yeah. Yeah, so just be careful. We always stay away from this one. And look at the pre-market action now. It's not looking great neither. So just be mindful of that. Next, we have AMD. What is AMD up to? Pre-market action looks good on AMD. 385 so far. Big day yesterday, breaking out of this area of consolidation with a nice bar here above 76. Yeah, AMD could be interesting. I like their daily as well, guys. If you look at the price action right now, the high from the pre-market, the high from yesterday, all sitting right on here around this 76. Was that 86, 77 or so? And you can see how much play we have on the daily around that price target. So if we can get going here, that could be pretty nice. I actually like AMD for the main list today as well. AMC, let's take a look at AMC. It's been very active. AMC here. Yeah, it looks okay right now. 1 million shares traded. Got a lot of volume being moved around here. Their daily also very interesting. Getting rejected here at 1450, and just coming back down here, hitting this moving average on the daily. We'll have to see. It could be a hit or miss on this one. It could be something to just keep a far eye from it, because again, it just could be so choppy at times. HYLN. What do we have here? No volume right now. It's pretty quiet at the moment. A couple of nice green days here. Could get going, could be explosive, but right now it doesn't look great at the moment. So if it gets better, we can throw it back out to us. We'll take a look at it. PLCE. Children's Place. This is another one that is very difficult to trade. Doesn't get a whole lot of volume. I will stay away from this. So if you want to look at anything in the retail area, I think Coast is the one that's looking pretty good today this morning. Children's plays, again, even when they are in play. See, the big two differences here. Calls, when they have earnings or any catalyst, they can trade very well. Children's plays, even with earnings and a good catalyst, they don't trade well at all. That's based on our experience of watching that stock over and over again. Force got some stuff going on here. They're up 2.2. They're up 3.2 with 2.2 million shares traded. So they're pushing some volume around very early on. Now, this stock is not a stranger to heavy volume, guys. On a given day, they're pushing around 64, 61 million shares traded. So I won't give them too much credit here, but they are very active in the pre-market. I'm not sure. Is there any kind of news on this? Are they releasing an EV?
Yeah, they had that. Yeah, they had that crazy Lightning F-150 electric truck last night that they unveiled.
Okay, so we got some action there. I just don't expect a whole lot out of this, really. Even on that news, it's just, again, the stuff is old already. We had a great run from them in the past. How much can they run now on stuff that we knew was coming out? So I'm just not sure how that's going to play out as far as getting a nice continuation type play. Pre-market action looks good now. I'm just not sure how much more you're going to get out of that. All right, matter we do have on deck, guys, just two more, because we do have to run here. XBEV this morning. Let's take a look at that. XBEV right now, pretty quiet, guys. No volume. So we'll do another one. CCL, same thing here, guys. Just pretty light right now at the moment. I don't see a whole lot going on. We'll end with Crowd in our chat room. Crowd this morning also very light on volume. I see you're looking at the daily for a possible continuation here after 2 green days. One of them being a nice big gap down yesterday and recovering. So that was nice of them to be able to do that. But aside from that, I don't see a whole lot. SQ starting to get going. Doesn't look great right now, but could be active in a couple of more minutes. All right, let's start here with Blake. Blake over on YouTube chat. AMD, we do have. Brian was giving us TGT. I know they were in play a couple of days ago. Big day yesterday for them, guys. Nice pop here. Not much going on right now with Target, so you're going to have to wait till the market open and see if there's going to be any volume flushing in here. If not, it's just not going to be a good one. Again, this stock does not trade well at all. Yeah. So unless they have a catalyst, I know they had one. Was it yesterday or the day before? I forget.
Yeah, it was 2 days ago, I believe.
2 days ago, right? So we're seeing some of that action play out today. I'm not sure how much more room you have towards the upside. And the stock doesn't move a whole lot. If you look at their daily here, they're not great. All right, that's all we have over on YouTube. So just 2 stocks. That's it. AMD, we looked at. TGT, we just checked out. And the rest space we have on here. SH, we looked at. Yeah, I think we're all set, guys. So let's go ahead. Let's look at our community events that are coming up, and then we'll fine tune this list when we come back.
All right. Andrew's webinars are posted, so check those out. Number 1, number 2, very insightful. Next week, we'll have Thor Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about using volume price analysis and ranges to eliminate chop when you're trading, or at least get through choppy markets. Then Nada, her webinar tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let the storm of emotions pass without drowning you, learning how to deal with the emotions of trading. Next week, we'll have Dr. Katz's town hall. We'll have 2 traders from the community sit and talk with Dr. Katz in kind of a group psychological session, and the rest of the community can sit and watch and learn. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, mark it up. Obviously, it should have entries and exits, then put any commentary you can on it to describe the trade and the strategy. Post it on Twitter, tag at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We will pick a winner for the day and announce it in the closing bell show in the room and on Twitter that afternoon. And then we will take all the trades of the day, and the team votes over the weekend for trade of the week, and that'll be announced on Monday on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a try, use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount on the test drive, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the chat. Doesn't auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. Also, if you would like to upgrade your membership to Elite or become an Elite member, use the promo code MEMORIAL40 to get 40% off the annual Elite membership.
That Oh, there we go. Thank you, Norm. Appreciate that. All right, guys,
Absolutely, brother.
let's get to it. Let's see what we have here. Starting with our top list here, we have BTC here. We're just checking that out again. Insane action the last couple of weeks on this one. Here is Mara, guys. They're popping up pretty nice this morning, up 8.2, 722,000 shares traded. Love the action we're seeing here in the pre-market. Also, their daily looks really, really good. We'll have to keep an eye also on Bitcoin because that actually has a huge effect on this stock here. FSR was great a couple of days ago. Not so hot right now. I do like their daily. This could be a good possible. Let's keep it on here for now. Plug looks good. I like this one here this morning. Their daily also looking very nice as well. Let's remove some of those levels. Space is on fire, so we'll definitely be watching that one. AMD's got potential, guys. Great daily as well. And notice a lot of the stocks we have on our list have this same pattern, right? We have the drop down over the last couple of weeks. We're finding support somewhere. We're chopping around, and today we're looking for some kind of breakout if we can get it. So look at AMD. Look at that action there. If you look at what's on, we had a FSR. Was it Mara? Same situation here, coming down, just chopping around in the breakout here. Space is on a whole different story. They have the same thing too. They're breaking down, chopping around, but again, they have a catalyst that's helping them boost that pretty nice there. So if you look at other stocks that are on deck, Apple and the other ones, same situation, guys. We have this drop. We're finding some kind of support. And if you look at the SPY, that is what we're seeing over the last couple of days. It's kind of this drop here is creating these stocks to go down. We're getting a little bit of a pop now. SPY is going green. I suspect some of these tickers, AMD, Tesla, and these other ones are going to follow suit as well. What is Apple doing? We did not look at Apple this morning. Same situation here, guys. Apple also dropping down. Again, finding a little bit better pop here, but also finding some support. Nice double bottom on the daily, actually, on Apple here, and getting a good pop there. Actually, I'm going to add Apple to our list because I think that is a good one to keep a close eye on all the time. So I have Ford here, but Ford, you know what? It's one of those stocks that doesn't move very well. So I'm going to bring it down. So I think that's a good main list for right now. FSR may get moved down as well, but let's check out our possibles list. We have Ford on here, top possible for today. ROD is looking very good, guys. A couple of nice green days here. We do not have shares for short on this one, unfortunately, but we will see if we can get a good opportunity towards the long side. We have NMDM here. This one is looking okay. I'm going to remove it, guys. I think we have better stuff to watch. Fuel cell, again, same situation here, guys. Again, especially with EVs, batteries, and everything involved in that area. We got the drop down. We're getting the support here. Can we get some kind of continuation towards the upside after the slam down that NIO, fuel cell, and all these other EV companies and battery companies are getting? Here's Riot. That's a good secondary to Mara as well. Both look very good. Great pre-market action. IOVA. I love the drop yesterday, but again, it's just not doing a whole lot right now, and this thing could just chop around here. I'm going to remove it. Hopefully one of you guys watch it. If you do, something's good, call it out here. Viacom is interesting, guys. We've been talking about this one's been moving sideways for weeks now, and eventually I will hope this thing starts heading back towards the northeast here. So we'll see. It might not be today, but today they do have some volume here. They're up 4%. It could be interesting for a nice little run if we can get some momentum going here. So Viacom is a good possible to keep a close eye on. Now remember, this stock moves a lot, guys. You can get $1, $2 easily in a matter of minutes if it's moving well. So be mindful of that. You want to make your money here on the move, not on the number of shares you take, right? So be careful with that size. BEKE is a good possible. Might actually be even on our main list. It's moving well as far as the pre-market right now. We might move that one up. I think Coast is interesting, actually. I think I'm going to move Coast into our main list this morning. We got some other ones here like FSR that can possibly get dropped. So we'll drop down FSR. I like Coast slightly better this morning right now. And what else we have? Space is good. Plug is decent. Mara is nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. Okay, excellent. Let's do levels for this, guys. We have Mara almost slamming up against the highs from 2 days ago, which is a great area of support and resistance right on here. This 24. So we'll wait to see what happens there. The high of the pre-market right now is 23. 59, but I love this level here where the price action is now. It is really struggling to get above 23.50. Yes, this is the high of the pre-market, I get it, but this is where the action is at, right guys? This is what we're trying to get above and stay above, and we have not been able to do that. This actually this wick here actually confirms how strong this level is. The minute we get above that, we're slamming right back down. We do have higher lows on this one here, so that could be interesting for a possible breakout on Mara. But beautiful pre-market action. Love what's happening there. Let's look to the top and get some good levels here. 26.22, great area of resistance right on here on the daily. We also have this one here. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I like it over here at 28.21 because you got confirmation here as well. So slightly above what this is here, but you got a nice confirmation there, which is important. The next level is really easy because you have tons of touches on there, guys. Look at these 3 days using that as support. More support happening here, 30.88. So a couple of great levels towards the top there. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. If we were to lose those, we do have another level here at 18.31. That could be a good one if we do decide to go red for the day. But right now, looking pretty strong, up 8% on Mara. Here is Plug, guys. So Plug, okay, pre-market action. We've seen better out of Plug. I do like the daily here, 28.40, high of the pre-market. Also, great area of support and resistance. Draw a line right on there. You can see that tons of touches around that price. 28.40, and then above that, very clear level here, area of resistance at 30.25. You got another one here also. We can mark this down, 29.50, guys. Great area of resistance. You got this day here, these two here, and you also have this day opening, closing right at that level too. So got a lot of touches on that one as well. 29.50, that is. Okay, towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you covered. You do want to add this one on here. A couple of touches here on 26.68. So throw that on there. A couple of days opening and closing and bouncing off that one level there. So just in case we get below the previous day close, the previous day, the pre-market low is at 27.29. But I think this is the level you're really looking at, this previous day close with the highs from the last 2 trading days. That's where a lot of the support might be hanging out at. So here's Space, guys, moving very well. They're setting their high of their pre-market right now at 21.73. So we'll throw a level there. That's also being confirmed by a couple of days here over to the left. So that's pretty good there. Above that, very clean, clear level here at 23.70, guys. Let's not get cleaner than that. Look at the resistance there. Look at the change in direction right at that level. You got about 1, 2, 3, almost 3 days banging their heads again. That 23.70 could not break out of that, and then just staying nicely on a beautiful downtrend here. Towards the bottom, another great level with a lot of touches as well, a lot of confirmation. 20.06 support here, more support here. Eventually we break down, and then we start getting into our pre-market highs and lows from the last 2 trading days and the previous day close here on Space. Heading down to the next one, AMD, guys. AMD also beautiful chart at the moment. Again, great consolidation here. Big day yesterday, slamming up against this area of resistance, and that is our pre-market high right now, 76.95. Above this, we do have plenty of good levels over here. 78.29 is a good one. Over to the top, 79.44, 2 great levels towards the top there. And then towards the bottom, you do have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days right on here, guys, between 76 and 72.70, creating some good levels for you on the daily. Do not need to add any more on the way down there. Here's Apple. Apple's a good one to watch. We have some levels from before because we've been watching this one quite a bit. So we have 131.09, great area there. We have 129.25 still in play. We have the highs from 2 days ago, 127 right on here. Look at that level, area of support and resistance over the last couple of days. The only thing we need to mark on here, I think, is the pre-market high at 125.71. Outside of that, all the levels that we have here have been playing out pretty nice. We don't need to add anything more on Apple there. Here's Kohl's. Kohl's has been very active this pre-market action, guys, with 946,000 shares traded. I know their daily is funky, but they do have a catalyst today. And they can trade very well when they have a catalyst. So they have earnings. 53.83 is the low of the pre-market. Towards the top, we do have a great level of support happening right where the price action is right now, slightly below that, right at 56.23.25. You do have some support happening here and here as well. Again, it's not a very clean daily, but even if you look in here, you can see plenty of days opening and closing right around that area. But if you look at the bigger picture, this daily is not great, right? Even here, very choppy. Let's hope that this catalyst can get some stuff moving around nicely. We are seeing a nice pre-market action out of it right now, so that's definitely a positive thing for Kohl's this morning. All right, so that is what we have on our main list right now. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup, see what we have going on there. Let's bring this up this morning. So far, we have a few. Let me resize this and bring this over. And we can take a look on what's happening here. So here we go. All right, that looks good. All right, here we are. So we have we have Jared. He's looking at Mara and Riot. Obviously, Bitcoin definitely in play today. And then he's looking at some other stuff here as well as EVs and that solar sector. Dima is looking at Space, Plug, AMD, and Mara. Mike is looking at break of high and break of low scanners, Coin, and Facebook. He likes the daily on both of those this morning. Tiffany's looking at Space, AMD, Riot, and Viacom. I like Viacom today, guys. I think that one has some potential, man. The daily's been chopping around for a long time. If it can get going, we have some room to head towards the north side there. Andrew's looking at Space, BEKE, Coast, Riot, and Viacom. All of them looking really good this morning. They're all definitely in play today. So, all right, I think we have a good list. We'll wait for the other moderators to throw out their list as well, see what everybody else is watching. In the meantime, we're a little bit ahead of time, 9:10 Eastern time, market time. So we have some time to answer some questions. Carlos, good morning. What's the difference in trading Riot versus Mara? I don't think there really is a difference. You can go with either one. Again, they're basically trading on the whole entire Bitcoin news at the moment. So you can go with either one. I find that Mara at times gets a little bit more volume and trades a little bit better at times. But today they're both right there, right? They're both at 800,000 shares traded. Their pre-market action they're both looking really good. You look at their daily. Let's see their daily here. Yeah, they're identical at this point. So I don't think you can go wrong watching either one. What you could do is pick one and then have the other one as backup. Rarely are you going to get in a situation like this with the entire sector, right? The Bitcoin sector is just madness at the moment, as you can see here, bouncing off 30. Was it 30 yesterday we bounced off? I think you mentioned that, Norm. Yeah, right here. Yeah. 34 maybe. Oh, no, 30. No, you're right, 30, all the way down here. So again, when you have something moving like this, anything that's involved in this is probably going to be moving exactly the same, and that's what you're seeing now. Now, there's some other ones that don't move well. Like if you look at CAN, that's not moving a whole lot. Like Mara and Riot are, right? Those are the bigger names when it comes to trading them as far as Bitcoin. You got some other ones as BTBT. That's another one that doesn't move very well. Look at this one, right? Overall, the daily is following whatever Bitcoin is doing, but look how the difference in as far as price action and also volume, right? So you want to be watching something that can move nicely, like Mara and Plug are right now. Both of them, Riot. Both of them looking very, very, very good.
The only exception I would say to that, because either one are really a decent proxy for trading Bitcoin, is if they have an individual catalyst. One has earnings, the other doesn't. Something like that. Right. There might be a little more divergence of how they trade.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I know that's why Mara was had a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, they had a catalyst about them doing a presentation at some event, so that kind of kept them give them a little boost. CAN, if you guys remember, CAN is another one. This one also traded well when they had a catalyst. Outside of that, they have not done anything, right? So it's another Bitcoin one here, Bitcoin play. You do have the main daily, looks familiar, right? We got the nice pop and then kind of like the breakdown. Outside of that, you're not seeing a great intraday action out of this one. Here's Brian with his list. He has codes BEKE, Rye, Space, and Mara. All of them pretty hot this morning. Space continues to just throw volume around here. 8.5 right now, up 21.4. So this is 21.4.5. So again, looking very, very good this morning. I just hope that it's not choppy. Usually when you start like this, you might need to wait for it to settle down, guys. Already insane volume. Give it a minute or two, maybe 5, even 15 at times. Let it settle down, pick its direction, and then join the party, right? So you don't want to be early to the wrong party. It's just not fun. Not fun. Outside from that, guys, thank you so much over on YouTube for joining us this morning. We highly, highly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe if it's your first time. We're live every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. in our chat room and on YouTube as well. So make sure you do that. It really, really helps us out. We highly appreciate it. And maybe next week, we will go live with Andrew. We'll do some live trading if we can get enough likes. So make sure you hit that like button, and Norm will let us know when we can actually do that. So That's it, guys. Take care, trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow, Friday, to end the week. Have a good one, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.